Alrighty. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Now live Comic Bookies podcast. Hope everyone is having a great, safe, and cool Labor Day. It's a hot one out here. I'm going to plug it during the episode, but everyone, if you're tuning in right now to the first few minutes of the episode before we actually get started, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description after this is out. But we have a super contest, an info super contest going on right now, so sign up for free. It's on Run Your Pool. Yeah, runyourpool.com. It's free to sign up, and all you have to do is just pick 4 games against the spread every single week and throughout the whole season, and whoever wins, $200 cash and some TCB swag. And second place gets $100 in the same swag, and then third place still gets some swag. So before we, and I know we're going to plug this in the episode, but just want to make sure you guys know that we have a super contest going on. So, but yeah, I will put the link in the description after we're done here tonight. So, all right, Mark, can you speak for me, please?
I can speak for you.
Okay, cool. Right on. So let's go. Episode 159. Hope everyone enjoys. Please go ahead and feel free to comment, like and share, all that good stuff. Yeah, 159. Okay, let me go sip my little iced espresso here. A little sugar-free vanilla syrup. All right. Okay. So I think I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording on Skype too. Okay, sounds good. All right, Mark, ready? Going for the intro in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, wait, hold on. And 1, no. Let's put the gain right there. Okay, cool. 3, 2, and 1. What's going on, fans? What's going on, fans, and welcome to another episode of the Comic Bookies podcast. Episode 159 is started right now, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, and supporting. A big week for us. This, again, weekly... Big week for us, so let's get it started. In comics, we have plenty of books to get into. DC, IDW, Image, Marvel... Goddamn. It's a big week for us, so let's get it started. In comics, we have plenty of books to get into. DC, Marvel, IDW, Dynamite, Image, to name a few. And in news, drop the mic. Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick does it again. And I have some video game news and a Jurassic Park Dominion review. And over in sports, of course, we cannot forget the hugest news of the week. NFL Week 1 is here. We have college football over the last couple weeks to talk about. NASCAR at Darlington was crazy, and we head to Kansas this week, and we do a small check-in on the EPL and MLB standings. But get out of this heat and come listen to this fire. This is the Comic Bookies Podcast, episode 159. Let's do this. Yeah, I kind of saved it. I was like kind of messing up at first, but I kind of saved it with that. I think it's easier for me to do the intro when sports is first. I don't know. Like when I talk about sports first, I don't know. I think I just get more comfortable, I guess. Because comics is usually the same thing. Just just mentioning, that we have books to talk about. And then like with the news, so...
I thought we were in the Duran of You to the Kill. Into the fire.
Right?
A broken hand is all you need. Dance into the fire.
God.
Let's see here. Let's see here, ladies and gentlemen, who's joining us on our TCB Super Contest?
I know, right? We have, I think, 22 people, 21, 22 people joined so far. So hopefully in the next few days, I had a goal of getting 40. So if you're watching right now, please you yourself join, but share also. But we'll be mentioning this at least a couple times in this episode. So, all right, cool. All right, Mark, let's do it. Back live in 3, 2, and 1. And coming live from the surface of the sun, this is the Comic Bookies Podcast, issue number 159. Thank you all so much for joining us. Like every single damn week, we are brought to you by Treasure Island Comics in Fremont, California. This Wednesday, September 7th. 2022 is New Comic Book Day, so go out to your local comic book store. Ours would be Treasure Island. Go see Alex. He's open every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and he can get you your books any way you want them. He can ship it to you for a small fee like he does for me, or you can go into the shop and actually grab your books yourself. But Mark, what's going on, man? Huge week for us. I mean, it's obviously a huge week for us last week as we have the NFL season preview, but now we get into the real stuff. Now we get into, breaking down the games. This is a little bit tougher of a week, I think, because it's week 1. We haven't even seen anybody play yet. We've seen many teams, 0 starters played. So as far as their stars. So, first of all, how are you? To everyone out there, happy Labor Day. Hopefully everyone's inside, staying cool. Yeah. How are you, sir?
What is up? Yes, California having a crazy heat wave here these last couple days and still upcoming. So we're just trying to stay cool here. But not I don't know if everyone else around the country is staying indoors. It is Labor Day. We know people like to get out on their lakes and out on their boats and get out on the open road, take a vacation with the family. So didn't do
Right.
none of that. Kind of kept it local, kept it close, kept some of that AC Slater on me, you know what I mean? So
Yes,
just
sir.
but really just had some work to do and did that and just enjoyed some college football. Just so much going on and just great games and some close upsets and just exciting, man. Like you said, NASCAR was great. Just ready to get into like the meat and potatoes now, man. It's here. Although it's 110 degrees still, it's the fall is slowly approaching, and
Right.
the picks will be coming in, and the wings, and by the time we know it'll be Christmas time, and we'll see who's in the lead for our contest. But I'm just excited, man. I'm just so excited. I see that 95.
95 degrees in Tracy, California right now. I'm sure you're similar where you're at right now. But yeah, no, I love it. And this year is actually different from last year because consistent listeners know that me, you, and Sean had a super contest, just the 3 of us, right? Kind of going through our picks and everything. But this year, we're actually online doing this thing. So we're on a website, and it's so weird that I was like, I was going through these websites and trying to figure out, the best way to like do this online, and that way we don't have to like write picks down and keep track of people's stuff. Like, there's got to be a website to do it. And I was telling you on the phone a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, it's like run your pool or something like that. And you're like, what? You told me, what the hell? Like, yeah, I do a contest there too, so we set it up for free. We set it up to do just the same way we did it last year. You just picked 4 games against the spread. I think this year we're just going to do it kind of like easy across the board. Just have the website pick the spreads. So far we have over 20 people signed up for this thing. It's absolutely free. So I'm going to give a little plug for it right now. But if you're listening to this in the next few days, I don't know if Thursday's the cutoff to sign up for the contest itself or if it's Sunday morning at 10 a.m. But yeah, it's free to sign up. I'll put a link in the description of this video. I'm going to be sharing the hell out of it the next few days. But yeah, free to sign up. Grand prize winner gets $200 cash and some TCB swag. Second place still gets $100 and some swag, and even third place gets maybe a t-shirt or 2 or some stickers and whatnot from your favorite podcast that collides the worlds of sports and comics. How cool is that, Mr. Fagundes?
Definitely, man. And just like you mentioned, man, we try to make it more easier and more accessible for the fans to try to join us this year. Obviously, we've already beaten that tenfold, I'd say, but just we appreciate you for going out and trying to, finding that out, and just, we're in 2022, almost 2023 here. I knew there had to be a way, but we found
Right?
it out, and you found it out, and it's going to be fun, man. Just, I mean, good luck to everyone that's competing, that's playing. I know a pretty good guys, including ourselves here. We saw how tight it was last year, but
Yes, sir.
there might be some guys that might kick our butt. So
I
they
know.
might run away with it. So it's going to be fun to, keep track and just see how we do this year. And hopefully it actually can come down to like the last game, like it did last year.
Right.
Pretty fun stuff.
And I assure you that since it's kind of for money, I don't think I'm just going to automatically pick against the Raiders this year. I think I will actually do some more homework, right? Not just on 3 games, because I think I probably did that at least 10, at least a 10 to a dozen games where I was like automatically against the Raiders, because hey, if I picked against them and they covered or if they won, that's good for me. Like I at least get
There it
one. I at least
is.
get one thing positive, right? I win this game, or they actually win a game. So, not gonna do that this year though. I actually want to compete. So okay, let's so for those of you actually watching live on YouTube right now, you can actually see we have Josh Allen giving a nice stiff arm to their opponents on Thursday, the LA Rams, and Kyle Busch, his engine blowing up unfortunately with just over 20 laps to go at Darlington last night. So, but before we get to that, we're doing a little bit of comic book talk. So, this is one half of the Comic Bookies podcast, so let's go ahead and get into this week's comic books. Mark, Batman 127 starts it off for DC, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths 4, Flashpoint Beyond 5, Poison Ivy 4, and this new one, Batman Dear Detective #1. Marvel gives us Moon Knight 15, Wolverine 24, Immortal X-Men 6, New Mutants 29, and She-Hulk #6. Image, Spawn 333, half of the devil himself 666, Twig #5, Time Before Time #16, and That Texas Blood #17. IDW gives us yet another banger, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #132, Boom Studios. Their offerings are Once and Future 29, Basilisk #11. Dynamite gives all three of us 007 #2, and Erratic is back at AWA. He comes out with a brand new series right now, Erratic Recharged #1. Now, before we get into actual books of like what we're excited for this week or what we read last week, I will say that another app that really, really caught my eye. I was watching one of our favorite YouTubers. He does like Disney World walkthroughs and stuff. We found a few of these pages in 2020, when our Disneyland trip got canceled and we were feeling kind of FOMO when Florida opened up Disney World, almost a year before Disneyland. And this guy, he's doing something on this app called Whatnot. I download this app, and my God, there's live auctions for, comic books and especially cards. These things are crazy with these football cards, these baseball cards, soccer cards, like what have you, Pokemon cards and everything. So this website's for that. Like people have their their profile and they do live auctions. So I was thinking to myself, like, let's take even more advantage of our sponsorship. And if there's ever a low week, I'm gonna ask Alex for him to give me if there's good stories that just start like a #1, to send me like 1 or 2 extra books, and then maybe once a month we'll get all of those put together and we'll do either an auction or like a free giveaway, something like that, something even more for the fans. So just thinking outside the box for those couple things. So please stay tuned for that. If you are on Whatnot, just search the Comic Bookies and follow us, so that way you're ready and you kind of get that notification when we do go live. But give us about a month or two to kind of collect a handful of books, and then hopefully we can do that. Maybe we can all get together or something, like once a month, once every other month, and do something like that, something cool for the fans.
Yeah, man. That's going to be definitely fun. Hopefully we can get that thing cracking. Just I never heard of Whatnot.
It's
I know you
crazy.
mentioned it to me. It's it seems like a pretty cool idea, especially for content creators such of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of surprised that I haven't heard of it, just with all this like NFT stuff and just big
Right.
cards and just all, the world we're living in lately, especially just I haven't heard of it. But I'm pretty sure that when we start doing this giveaway thing, that I'll have to dig and dive deep into it a little
Right.
bit more.
It's mostly pages where you say, you bid on like a pack of cards, right? For like football cards, or like, because these things are blowing up, right? So you like bid on this box, and obviously you don't know what's going to be in the box. So you may pay a little bit more than what you would pay at a store, and some of these guys are pretty cool. Like they say, oh, hey, if like whoever wins this bid gets this like box or this pack of cards, and they get a free spin on this wheel or whatever, and then whatever lands on the wheel, like you get that as well, like an extra pack of cards or a freaking sticker or a T-shirt. It's pretty cool how people promote themselves on some of these apps. So yeah, so just stay tuned for that. That's gonna be pretty cool. But
And you can go live right from the app.
yeah, you go live right from the app, and then you kind of put, like there'll be different toggles, like there'll be different pages people can go to. So people will have, like, before we go live, we'll have a list of what we're going to either give away or auction off. And then so people can actually see that. And so then they'll know, like, okay, cool, we're going to auction off, this Batman Dear Detective #1. We're starting the bidding at $1. And then once I can choose to go live, then we give like 30 seconds or a minute or something. And then people who are on there bid for it. And then obviously in the next day or two we ship it to them, so, and we'll factor in obviously shipping costs and everything with that. But yeah, dude. And then people they do a bunch of auctions, like 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever in a row, and then they'll do, all right, cool, we're giving the giveaway, but you have to be, like a lot of people, you have to be on the live stream to be able to be eligible for you can't just say like, oh, I'm going to enter the sweepstakes and then just leave and expect for you to get your name drawn. Nope, you have to be in it. So it's pretty cool, and it just randomly picks on like a name, whoever is entered the sweepstakes and whoever's live on the stream. It's pretty cool.
Hey, you got to be in it to win it, baby. That's what they say.
Hell yeah, dude. I will say that I did see a lot of #1 books, like I didn't mention now. There's a Batman Night Watch #1, an X-Men and Moon Girl #1, and a Shock Shop #1. So I'm going to email Alex, and if it's a low stack this week, I'm going to say, hey, ship me out like 1 or 2 of those. So that way over the next 2 months, I can get like a nice stack of books, and we'll be able to, give some freebies away to these fans, man.
What about Batman? There's a Dear Detective coming out #1 today, or
That's true.
this week.
That'd be a good
Bermejo.
giveaway, because that's an $8 book, mind you.
That's a Bermejo.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Is that a one-off? I mean, is that a one-shot?
I don't know, because it's kind of weird, because sometimes when they say it's #1, it could be or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually one of the ones I did not pull from DC. You know how we've been pulling, like, There's No Tomorrow from DC. I did not pull this one.
I did not pull it either.
Okay. So, hey, maybe maybe one of us gets it if we have a low week, and then that'll be one of the books that we can, auction off or give away for sure. I will say, going into this week, it's kind of light. I'm obviously going to say Batman 127. And the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and the Flashpoint Beyond, those stories are pretty cool. I'm so glad that I'm not doing all of the side stories for Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, Alex pretty much said you didn't have to. There's no, there's no advantage to doing it. So it's actually a good story. It's only like, I think it's like 8 issues or 7 issues or something like that. And Flashpoint Beyond's only like 8 issues as well. So it's not too bad. And that's pretty much it. I mean, 007's cool. I mean, the first issue was cool. It's just a regular 007, but nothing big
we got
to
2
write.
this week.
Right.
If anybody's into that.
Yeah.
If anyone's in reading Bond as we are, #2 it'll come out first via Dynamite this week.
Right. So I mean, besides, I don't know, I'd probably say Batman 127 is the most I'm excited for. Yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Batman 127 as well. I still got a couple of books. I'm still the Stephanie Phillips Grimm that I still got to read. And I know that the Human Target is obviously starting back up. I got one of the issues, but I got 2 to read on those. So I still got some stuff. Like I said, I didn't make it to Treasure Island last week to be able to pick up my books in time. So I got a couple from last week plus the ones this week, which isn't going to be too much. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, #4. The other one has been great. The Sam Wilson one, read that one. That one's been good. Like I mentioned, I like it a little bit more than the Steve Rogers one, but I'd have to say, if I'm very excited for a book this week, I'd have to say it's got to be that TTB, rhymes with TCB, that Texas Blood, still delivering that heat. If you guys have a chance, check out that cover. Man, I just love the masked villain that is drawn out in that book and this arc. And it's like I mentioned before, I believe this arc is even better than the first arc, and I'm just truly, truly enjoying what they're delivering there. So I'd probably have to say that it's a close tie between Condon's that Texas Blood and Mr. Zardasky's Batman 127 for the week of 9/7/2022. Mr. Michael Biella.
Cheaping. Man, we're just like tongue-tied tonight. Speaking of Chip, let's get into the first book that I want to get into.
I love how he's speaking to you, Chip.
Yeah, come on.
You know why? Because he's a winner, Chip.
I love that movie. Like, it makes me love it even more now that I'm an actual fan of NASCAR the last like 6-7 years. So
Oh God.
it makes it even more. It makes it so much better movie. Like, it propels it on my list of Will Ferrell movies for sure. But Chip Zdarsky gave us Daredevil #2 of his run, the 650th Daredevil of all time. So congratulations to everyone who's ever worked there. Marvel doing a great job. One of the greatest characters in comics history. That's one of my dreams, though, is to someday own the first 6 issues of Daredevil ever when he was in his yellow suit. So issue #7 was when he switched to the red. So what'd you think of it, bro? #2.
I liked it.
I liked it because it was like it was longer, you know. Obviously, they had like
Yeah.
a couple little like 2-page little short stories, and they had, like you were mentioning in pre-production, they had the pages where they had every single cover of Daredevil throughout all the 650 issues. But I think it's pretty cool. I definitely think that this villain, Goldie, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's what
pretty
that's what I was
crazy
gonna
character.
say. That character, who is he again? It's like is it like his boy or someone that he knew or trained with, or I forgot exactly what it was, but he's like giving him like all this like these visions and all
Right.
these,
Just
he's all like reminiscing on what happened. He's like kind of like he's acting like he's kind of like supposed to be his keeper, or like, you know what I mean? Like he's supposed to
right.
be his boy, but then he's really not. It's just kind of a crazy kind of a crazy character on top of everything that Mr. Matt Murdock is also dealing with, like in his love life type going on in that book right now.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, from my lack of knowledge, I'm the last person to pretend that I know a lot about Matt Murdock and the Daredevil character and his history and whatnot. But no, it's definitely someone he's known for years, like he went to college with this guy. So definitely, he's messing with him. He made him, believe that the train exploded, and killing the girl. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty messed up. But I will hand it to Marvel. Let me give some little respect on this show, because we kind of we everyone that's listened to us knows that we're more DC driven here, but I'd say Marvel has been, at least throughout the spring and the summer, I think that they've been delivering a little bit better stuff.
Right.
Like, although it's like not the greatest, but I'd have to say that compared to, I think, what I was getting before Marvel wise, as in the Black Cat, and even no disrespect to Mr. Ahmed, but Miles Morales. But man, I think the stuff that we're reading now, I'd say the 2 Captain Americas are pretty good, pretty fun. I'm really enjoying the Daredevil, even though I don't really like, I'm on the same boat as you. I'm not going to be the one to say I know much about the character, although we're going to eventually learn. And then the Spider-Man, right? Zeb Wells,
Right.
I mean, it's enjoyable, not the best, but I mean, I'm holding on to, a lot of these Marvel books, and I wonder how Moon Knight is going right now. I dropped that one. You dropped it before I did.
Yeah, I did. I mean, Philip Kennedy Johnson's still doing well on Alien. that's a Marvel book, so I'm still pulling that one. I think that a brand new story is coming out this week, I believe. Alien #1. It's the same writer, and it might be the same universe as it was in the arc that I was just reading. But a new #1 is starting this week, by the way.
And let me say this, I will attest to a lot of the book, we could be judging it and be a little prejudgmental whether in the character or not, right? Because with Moon Knight, right, it's like it could have been a certain, it could be a great story for others or someone that loves that character. It's just that, to me, like I enjoy reading more of the Daredevil. It's got like that, that dark theme, kind of that Gothamish feel. Like, it's just it kind of reminds me of like a Spider-Man type book, but more, like on the dark side, and hence the reason why Mr. Martin Murdoch is blind, right? Can't see. But man, I just really would say that for me personally, it has to do a lot with the character in the book. If it's especially when it's like characters that I'm trying to introduce myself to and trying to be more knowledgeable on, it's just it's just my limitations of how far I'm gonna, I try to give a book like 2 arcs, I'd say, about 12 issues and whatnot, and I think I do a pretty good job at that. Harley Quinn's not always the best, but it's been fun at times, and I try to mix it up. I try to have, the villains, heroes, male, female, and what have you. So, I just try to add to my repertoire and just, really, enjoy these characters really, and try to dive deeper into the ones that I think I'm going to enjoy more. But what are your thoughts on that, Mike? Is the character based on how much you're gonna, how much you're gonna deal with an okay book, a so-so book, with dropping it, with adding it? Because to me, I'd say it has to do a big deal.
Right. I mean, to me, I want to expand my horizons on characters, right? So if it's a character that I know from like a TV show or a movie, like Daredevil, for instance, right? Like I watched the TV show on Netflix, right? So, and I watched the movie and everything. So I'm really into the character, but I've never really read anything, Daredevil itself. So I'm really interested to see, right? I'm willing to give it a longer run than I would someone who I already know who the character is, right? But it all boils down to, if I know a character, if I don't know a character, is the quality of writing, right? Like if it grabs me, if the story is good, then I tend to stay on the book. If it's not good, then I have, just like jobs nowadays, man, with this generation, if someone doesn't want to work, you got 400 people waiting in line to take your job. So there's other books that are waiting in line for me to grab, but I don't grab because I'm getting so many, right? So if it's not good, like the Thor, like Moon Knight, I'm going to drop it because I'm going to grab something else. I'll try to grab a Marvel and give them more and more chances. It doesn't matter what it is, though. I'll drop if it's not as good. But so far, Daredevil, you're right, though. Daredevil, Alien, Spider-Man, they're good enough for me to keep it. Doing pretty well right now.
It also doesn't hurt that Mr. Zdarsky is also, writing Daredevil as well.
Oh yeah, it doesn't hurt at all because Stillwater is still good. Batman's good so far, so yeah.
And as much as we want to talk about, as much as I mentioned, the protagonist, antagonist type, character of the book, and the writer as well. But to me, as much is said for the artistry in the book too, because there's just some art, and obviously art is in the eye of the beholder, and I believe that everybody that puts their effort into designing art in a comic book should be rewarded, and obviously there's going to be people that love it and people that don't think so highly of it. But to me, it's if the art is kind of skewed and like it's not really my taste or my style, that also adds to me liking or pulling or not pulling a book. It's crazy because you wouldn't think of it that much, and I wouldn't say that it's like the main factor. Mm-hmm. It probably like lower towards the bottom, but there's some stuff that's got some some pretty like trippy art,
right.
And then again, And then we can always come back to the factor of like what else helps you pull a book. There might be a great writer and it might be from a good publisher, but then you get a book like the what was the name of it? The one with the Primordial.
Mm.
You know, you
Oh,
get Primordial and it's just like, okay, it's we're trying to give the writer, that's like indie stuff was real high. It's it's always hot, but we get on like a run where like indies just hit and right, and we're like, okay, Lemire, it's gonna be good, and it's just
right.
man, it's just
And it's like, okay, cool. You got about five, like 100 words through like 6 issues total. It was pretty. It
and
was
I pulled
pretty
and I
crazy.
I pulled them all, Mr. Michael.
I know. But then again, you have on the other hand, every single thing that I see come out from Tom King, and I'm sorry, I think I'm always butchering his name, but Mitch Gerads. If those two guys are on a book, automatic pull, doesn't matter. Like this Riddler one, the Batman One Bad Day, so good, so good. I know you didn't read it, so I'm gonna wait for you to get it, and then one day when you come back and you read it, but it's a good story, definitely a good story.
How many pages is
Oh,
it?
it's a thick one. It's a
Oh,
Yeah, it's a thick one.
it's an 80 pager.
I believe so. It's $8, so it better be. But it was definitely one of the ones that was worth it. Really, really good story, and it's not like one that's jumping around from just like a couple short stories. It's one long story, really well written. Artwork's amazing. So I will save that though for when you and or Sean read it. But I will jump into another DC book, The Flash 785. I will say that it's good. It's not great, but it's not bad. These issues, these Dark Crisis tie-ins. They're trying to save Barry Allen. There's like this Night Flash, in this other universe, and then this other little kid is helping the two kids find him, right? And then he's the one who ends up being Knives. The guy with knives, the one who actually killed his mother in that universe. So it's a cool little side story in that universe, I thought. And then of course, yeah, they end up saving Barry Allen, and he's off to do his thing to save the Justice League. So we'll definitely have a huge issue to read this upcoming week in that Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 4.
I like how they introduce the kids. They have the kids in that that arc and whatnot. It's pretty fun. You know,
Yeah.
not the best, but
Yeah.
Flash is the Flash. It's enjoying it.
Aftershock is still doing its thing for me, with The Brother of All Men. Zach Thompson is the writer on that one. Issue 2 I read. The guy who's kind of playing undercover, trying to save his brother and his brother's wife from this cult. He finally meets the cult leader at the very end of the story, so it's going to get juicy, so that's a good story. And finally, for the week, Undiscovered Country. This has been a roller coaster, like the computer game back in the day. This has been a roller coaster tycoon of a story, with the first 2 arcs being amazing, and then the next arc and a half was like what's the direction here? What are we going on? And then we get tons of breaks, in between, and so we're like, dude, what the hell's going on? But so far, this arc right here, I believe this has been the 3rd issue of this arc so far, 2nd or 3rd issue. But Snyder and Soule have been giving us some good stuff for Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, man. Just ups and downs like a roller coaster, just like they want you walking that spiral, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I
Nice. That was
mean,
a good one.
it's just it's I mean, what can I say? It sometimes it seems like it's getting a little bit repetitive, and then like
Right.
just when you think like it could be like kind of get boring again, something happens. I mentioned to you in pre-production, I enjoy, kind of the little history lesson that, Snyder and Soleil is giving us, and you know, it's just I just don't know how much longer it's gonna go. We're on issue 20 now. It's been how long, Mike, that we've been getting
A
like
while.
2 years, all
Well, I
right?
mean, yeah,
I think this
if
book.
you include the break, it would be 2 years, because, yeah, 24 issues if it went 24 straight months, but there was a little break in
Mhm.
between there. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, but this one's cool. It's in like two different parts of the world. Uncle Sam is just willing to shoot the 2 gals, Charlotte and the other gal, and to keep like kind of respawning and regenerating. They finally regenerate where Pearl Harbor's at. And then you have the other crew that they're. It was pretty cool how they said like, no, they're rotting in prison right here, and they look hella old. So they're like, what's going on here? and they find out that they have some followers that are willing to help them when they got in the back of that truck, so help them escape. So it's it's going pretty good. So we'll see what happens with the Destiny Man, how he handles those guys in issue number 21.
Probably be out in about 2 months.
Right. Anything else you have in comics before we get to a couple headlines?
No. Spider-Man's been cool. Just not really, man. Just like I said, I'll be having Grim Red and just
Nice.
couple more things, but with this football and all these all this starting up, I mean, dude, September, man, beginning of September is just kind of
Dude, I know. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like we love talking about our comic books, but when we go every week, it makes it easier to just kind of shrink down this section because we only have 1 week's worth of books to talk about, not like 2 weeks, right? So but yeah, so from the books going into just a handful of headlines for me. The video game news that I was talking about, I always love these. I've played every single game except for the most recent one, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But it was leaked, and then they came out and said officially, yeah, we're making this new game. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, they're going to give more information on September 10th. I read a couple articles. It says that the main protagonist looks to be a character from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I'm like, crap, now I got to go back and play that game, and beat it and find out who this Basim guy is, right? So that's
Basim.
right. So that one is in the making, so in the works. Have you seen any of these trailers or Instagram little things on this new Hogwarts Legacy game, this new Harry Potter game coming out? It's like an open world thing. It looks so cool. Just an unfortunate piece of news is for all you Harry Potter fans and who gaming fans who are going to pick up this game, the Hogwarts Legacy game will not feature a playable Quidditch game. So you cannot jump on the broom and play a little game of Quidditch. You will be able to jump on a broom and fly around Hogwarts and, outside and stuff, but there's no Quidditch in the game. But that's another one, man. Like, you're bringing back like the feels of like old movies or old games I used to play, and then you're going to like totally remaster them. Oh man, makes me want to even grab a PS5. I don't know.
Man, those graphics on those PS5s are pretty good,
right?
Man. But
if only we had 32 hours in a day, not just 24. Then I might be able to have time to do all this extra stuff. But anyways, so going in from that one to Top Gun Maverick, man, this thing, holy crap! So it's $1.44 billion. It's almost, I forgot what number it was. It's going to pass Frozen 2 at 1.45 pretty soon here. But yeah, it's top five in the United States of all time. It passes Black Panther. It hit the 700 million mark just here in the United States. It is the only movie ever to be number one on both Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend. So it's stretched like
wow.
15 weeks to do that. So I mean, Jesus Christ! Like, do I go out and watch it? Like, do I really want to wait? Like,
you could have,
dude. Do I give this movie more money? Man, crazy.
And we have to mention, shout out to a lot of movie theater branches and chains participating in the Labor Day, the $3, what is it, like National Cinema Day or something? It was.
Oh, cool. No, I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that? It was $3 tickets, I believe, on Saturday, and that's why like Spider-Man: No Way Home got re-released.
What? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I heard they racked in a lot of money because $3 tickets. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that it was on the tail. It was not really on the tail, but it was coming up on Avatar. And then they said, unfortunately, it probably won't catch Avatar because they're re-releasing Avatar into the movie theaters before the second one comes out. So Avatar is going to make even more money, which is going to extend it. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But one movie I did watch last night, it was free on Peacock, was Jurassic Park Dominion, the newest Jurassic Park one. I would think that it's the last of when you bring the characters of this current trilogy of movies with the older trilogy of movies, you would think that that's it, right? Dr. Grant, Ellie Sadler, you had Jeff Goldblum's character, coming in with Chris Pratt and God dang it, what's her name? Dallas Bryce Howard, I think her name is. Yeah, Ron Howard's daughter. The whole story comes together, and then you have the three characters who you grew up with from ever since 1993's Jurassic Park. It was a good movie. I think just like based on action sequences and like it being like a big Jurassic Park movie, if my kids were older and wanted to go see it, I would go see it. But I'm glad I didn't see it in the theaters. It was, it was down there with the lower of the movies, but it was serviceable for it being a Jurassic Park movie. You had some dinosaur killings, you had flashbacks of the past, you had some nostalgia, some nostalgic parts, like some of the older characters would say things that they said from the first movie, it kind of makes you like, give a little half smirk, like, I remember when you said that in 1993, you son of a bitch, you. So definitely
93 already,
1993. Speaking of anniversaries, so I don't know if you plan on seeing it. I won't give anything anything away, but it's a pretty good movie. So I would say it's one of those nights. Definitely, you sit down on the couch with your wife. Hey, what are we gonna watch? Hey, let's watch this. Especially if you've seen all the other ones leading up to this one. So definitely worth the watch, I would say. But the last piece of news, unless you want to get into anything, is I saw right now before we jumped on Twitter today, September 5th, 1992, 30 years ago, Batman the animated series. What the hell?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, dude.
Happy birthday, Batman the animated series. I was just going to say that. You took my news from me.
Oh, man. Sorry
brother.
about that. I mean,
Great minds think alike. 30 years ago, off Tim Burton's success.
Right.
In the Batman movies, Warner Brothers asked Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Mitch Bryan to develop a new Batman that would be appealing to kids. And there we are, man. Just kind of like an instant classic, man. It appealed to kids. It appealed to everybody, right. Man. Just great stuff.
That's where my love of Batman kind of started and then grew. Because when Batman 89 came out, I was 2. When Batman Returns came out, I was 3 or 4 or whatever. So I was probably a little young to be able to watch those movies, just sit down and watch them. So that's where the cartoon came out, and that's where my love grew. And of course, I watched those 2 movies right around the time when Batman Forever was coming out. So I wanted to watch those 2 movies before I saw, Riddler and Two-Face and Batman Forever. So, man. And a fun fact, if no one knew, but the first appearance of Harley Quinn was in this very Batman animated series. It was not in a comic book. Of course, you had the first appearance of her on print, but the first ever appearance of Harley Quinn was in Batman the Animated Series. Pretty cool.
It wasn't in the. I don't think it was in 93 though, was it? Or was it 94?
I don't know what year it was, but it was in an episode of yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like the first episode
the first episode. I think the villain in the first episode is Man-Bat, if I'm not mistaken. Because I tried, actually, it was a few months ago. I tried to sit Maddie down to watch. Like, hey, this is one of the shows Dad used to watch. She was up doing something else within the first 3 minutes. She's like, oh, okay, cool, Dad. Yeah, take these 1992 graphics and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, 8-bit Sega Genesis shit. Get out of here.
Get out of here, Dad.
Get out of here, Daddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go color. I'm gonna go do my puzzles, or I'm gonna go watch Ryan's World. Something like that. I don't know. But that's all I have for comic books and entertainment news, brother.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man.
All right, dude. So let's get into the second half of the podcast. No breaks today. Absolutely no breaks. Partly because we started a little late tonight, but either way. That's neither here nor there. But let's get into a little bit of the smaller pieces of news in sports. As we take a break, obviously, boom, we're going to do, you can find us, the Comic Bookies, on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now you're going to find us on Whatnot. So follow us on Whatnot. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be posting more shorts and stuff as the weeks in the NFL season roll along. Obviously, updates on the Super Contest. Again, speaking of the Super Contest, go and join runyourpool.com. We're going to put a link to the contest in the description below. So as you're watching this, please click on the link and sign up for free cash and swag prizes for the top 3 winners of the season-long contest. All you have to do is pick 4, not 16, but 4 games against the spread every single week. But yeah, listen to us on all platforms. We're on Apple iTunes, we're on Google, We're on Amazon Prime Music. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio, Radio.com app. We're like everywhere you can find us. Definitely search the Comic Bookies. But yeah, Mark, let's get into it, bro. So I got EPL. I said we were going to do a quick standings check-in with the week that was in EPL. We're now starting to get into the second week after Labor Day of MLB season. A little bit of a shake-up there. Let's start in baseball, actually. The Yankees are not really who we thought they were. They're only like 5 games ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays,
Wow.
who I believe are... I think the Rays and the Mariners are about a half game. Oh no, the Mariners are not. Yeah, I think the Mariners are half game ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays for that wild card spot. So, but it looks like the Dodgers, they have over 90 wins now. They have the best record in the league, but the Houston Astros are surging. They have like 87 wins. They're the number 1 team in the AL. So, pretty crazy shakeup over the last couple weeks since we've checked in on Major League Baseball, dude.
Yeah, and look at the Astros, man. Just maybe, we're thinking that they were going to have a down year. They got rid of a couple guys, but then again, I mean, what can you say when you got, Verlander down there, looking like the candidate for the Cy Young again.
I
Guy
know, bro, what
just
the hell?
the endless wonder of Verlander, and just
Ageless wonder.
you know, yeah, the ageless wonder. But man,
Crazy.
shout out to our Oakland A's, tied with the Washington Nationals with the worst record in the league.
Get what you pay for.
37, right? But no, man, just Dodgers, what can you say about them? 92 wins. They're looking like they want the World Series. Handed out to, New York Mets. They've been a pretty fun team to watch, but yet again, just one game above Atlanta Braves over there in the National League East. That's going to be, pretty fun coming down to the wire. Who do you like in that division, man? Are you going to go with the Mets there, or are you going to go with the Braves to, pull it off?
The Mets are like, oh man, the Mets were so good, and they're kind of, teetering on, like losing it there. But I think the Mets still hold on. I think the Mets still hold on to the East.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NL, the Giants are probably out. I'd say maybe 3.5 weeks left of the season. They're 7.5 games out of that third spot behind the San Diego Padres in the wild card. Philadelphia Phillies are right there, and Atlanta Braves hold a 10.5 game cushion for the wild card. So yeah, it's going to be the Braves or the Mets in that first wild card spot, well ahead of the Phillies and Padres, and it looks like maybe the Brewers are right there, 2 games behind. So it looks like it's a 3-team race for the last 2 spots between the Padres, Phillies, and Brewers. AL, the Rays and the Mariners are both half a game ahead of the Blue Jays in the third spot, but look at this, bro. The freaking Baltimore Orioles are 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Holy shit. I would say the Twins and White Sox, 6.5 and 7.5 games out, respectively, are probably out of it. So it looks like the Baltimore Orioles would be a team. Can you imagine that? Baltimore Orioles, with the juggernaut at the offensive positions that the Blue Jays have to knock them out. The season that the Mariners have been having to, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And coming from, years of the, obviously he's out there in San Diego now, but coming from the years of the Manny Machado era down there, in Baltimore, and just, you thought they were going to be promising. They had this young kid on the team, and, they had I think they had like a couple other sluggers. Can't remember their names right now, but, a couple guys that were with the organization for a long time. And, you thought they were going to be kind of good, and then like they traded Machado and they just fell off a cliff and whatnot. But they might remind us of, the Houston Astros, man. They used to be the laughing stock, even when they came back to the AL West and started playing the A's and whatnot again. We used to laugh at them and make fun of them, and now,
Right.
Look at them, man. They're just and I do enjoy that about baseball, that, teams that care and teams that, I don't know if you're tanking or you're just rebuilding. Baseball's a really huge rebuilding sport with this whole farm organization, and shout out to like the farm league. If you heard, they're trying to, unionize, I think, because those guys get paid crumbs. So,
Right.
I think that it's pretty messed up that these dudes, try to reach their dreams, but they have to play in this system and make nothing. So shout out to them if they can get some type of like player union going for the minor leagues. But baseball's crazy. So just, back to the Orioles, just I think that'll be cool, man. If they can make the playoffs, make a push, or just if they can't, do it this year, but at least look forward to the future and just hope to be positive going forward and just build on it really, because I'll tell you one thing, I don't see that division getting any easier anytime
No,
soon,
no,
right?
definitely not.
So
Especially if the Rays, because the Rays are like what the A's strive to be, right? They don't spend a lot of money, but they win. That's what the A's have done numerous times over the last 20 years. But the Blue Jays are starting to spend money. So if the Blue Jays try to somewhat match the Yankees, if the Rays start to spend a little bit of money, the Red Sox are in last place. They still spend money. So they're going to be right there. If they're healthy, they're going to be right there next year too. So it's going to be very, very tough for the Orioles to sustain a set of, some consistency there. What I will, go
and
ahead.
no, go
No,
ahead.
if you're still on the AL East, go ahead. I was going to move on, but go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say something about the odds here and
Oh
about,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the Houston Astros trying to come and break up the media darlings' wet dream of trying to turn it into a nightmare
Right.
here because, they want that New York, L.A. Dodgers type World
Absolutely.
Series, but with the Astros creeping here at about 3.5, 4-1, the Dodgers are still your favorite at 3-1. Mets, 5-1, 5.5-1, wherever you shop around, but the Yankees about the same, 5-1, the Braves 8-1. Those are going to be the teams you're going to find with double digits. Now you got the Mariners sitting at 15-1, but don't see much parity in baseball this year. Now you're starting to stretch. Cardinals 15-1, Rays 16, as well as the Blue Jays, your Baltimore Orioles 80-1. But it's
Right.
just it just seems like the parity isn't here this year, it's looking like it's going to be 3, 4, 5 teams or bust.
Right.
So I think Chalk is obviously going to win the World Series this year, and just not looking forward to too many exciting surprises. I think we're going to know what we're going to get this year in the 2022 MLB playoffs, what have
I
you.
I will say that when I said the Twins and the White Sox probably aren't going to make the playoffs out of a wild card, when I flip back over to the actual division standings, I didn't know that they were 1 and 2 games behind the Guardians, formerly the Indians, in the AL Central. I didn't even realize that. So when you think about it, over the next couple weeks, whoever wins that division is probably kicking the other two out of the playoffs. Because if the Guardians aren't in first place in the division, then they're back 6.5, 6 games out of a wild card spot. So with the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Orioles, and the Mariners doing so well, you have someone who's like, you have a 3-team race, and if whoever's second or third, you have no chance really of making a wild card spot. Unbelievable. 5 games over 500, that's it, and you're a division leader. White Sox only 1 game over 500, only 2 games out of the division. Unbelievable. And you have like similarly, so 1 game over 500. The Red Sox are 2 games under 500, and they're almost 15 games out of the division. It's crazy how these divisions work sometimes.
Right.
Right. So okay. So let's go to the.
But
Oh, go ahead.
the divisions, that's the point of the division, to make the cream
Mm-hmm.
rise, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Supposedly what's going to happen, at least on paper, right, is the AL West and NFL that we'll get to in a little bit, but
Right.
trying to rise all boats.
So let's go. We have some EPL just to check in on this week's games. Manchester United finally gives Arsenal its first loss of the season, so they're 5-1 at 50, but they still sit atop the table at 15 points. Running down the list of the top 7 teams: Manchester City, Tottenham, Brighton, and Hove Albion still there at 4-1-1 with 13 points. Man U is now top 5 with 12. Chelsea and Liverpool round out the top 7 with 10 and 9 points respectively. And then you have Leicester City last place. They have 1 draw and 5 losses. So not a very good start for the Foxes. What have you so far for the first 6 games of the EPL season there, Mark?
Oh man, you said Liverpool's in what
They're
place
in
now?
7th. They're tied.
S- I,
They're
I,
tied with Brentford with 9 points.
I didn't even I didn't even think they'd be that that high right now. They just keep dropping points.
But just don't
Right.
lose, right? Like when you
One,
have draws like that, that those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points that you accumulate could help you later on in the season when these other teams start to drop, actually lose games. They only have one loss, right? So they're right there.
which is against your Manchester United.
True.
But at the same time, we've seen how many times they would have they would. I think the year that they won the EPL, they would have actually won the year before as well. But remember, they had so many draws around Christmas
That's
time that
right.
came and bit them in the ass, and I think City ended up winning it,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you want to say just keep drawing, but you know, if you keep drawing as much as my 7-year-old daughter and your 5-year-old daughter, it's not gonna be too much left. So, man, just shout out Manchester United, winning a big game over the weekend at Old Trafford. Your brother and I kind of like called that one, and I just kind of felt good.
Yeah.
I kind of like the trajectory of Man U right now. Just they were in the gutter for so long, and like I said, there's only one way to go, and that's up. And they're playing and they're enjoyable. They scored three, and just you just got to keep on building it, keep getting better. Obviously Tottenham has been very good this year. Arsenal as well, although they lost, but just it's still young, man. I think that this EPL season, honestly, we got the Champions League coming up. I know my
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool is playing Napoli. We'll probably talk about those first matches, next week in our sports segment as well. But I think with the EPL and a lot of like these domestic leagues in Europe and around the world in general, I think that a lot of it is going to be based on after this World Cup. I think this World Cup is going to be, the stage is set. It got pushed back 6 months. It's at this, grand, luxurious, wherever it is again, Dubai, right? Or the
Yeah, I think you're
where
right. Qatar. Yeah.
Qatar, yeah, Dubai,
Yeah.
Qatar. So I think a lot of teams are going to try to, make it safe, make it to winter, make it to Christmas time, November, start playing in this World Cup. And just, I think if you can kind of hold your own until then and just stay away from injuries, which Liverpool really has not been able to. I already even seen my boy, Chris the Bear Felica from ESPN College Game Day, which is also a huge Liverpool fan. He's already calling like fourth is their ceiling in the EPL. I somewhat tend to
I
agree
saw
with
you tweeting
him.
him the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to go all in, right? In for the Champions League. And although I'm kind of with them. I think there are teams in the EPL right now that are going to be better than Liverpool this season. And but I mean, you still never want to give up on the league for your fans, for your
Right.
sponsors, for it's just and Champions League. If Champions League might not be much easier, right? If you're struggling right now with that Mane departure, if you're struggling right now with injuries, who's to say that Champions League is gonna make it any easier? And like I said, that's just another variable that all these teams are going to have to maneuver through, as these Champion League games that are going to be big, as well as still keeping up with your league and just getting ready for this World Cup. These managers and these organizations, not just in England but around the world, are going to have a lot of mix and matching and strategic planning to
Right.
do from here on out. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Very
fun,
true.
but
Very true. So, we'll check in on these two sports in about 2 weeks, especially baseball, since the regular season's coming to a close. I will say to your point about all those draws. I did look at last year, 2 years ago standings, 20 to 21 season. If Man City, then Man U, and then Liverpool, the top three. And sure enough, Man U had 11 ties. Liverpool had 9 ties, and they each had like 21 and 20 wins respectively. And there you go. And then Man City had only 5 draws and 27 wins. So yeah, so definitely to your
there
point,
it
yeah, you're
is.
definitely right. You can't be, like a lot of these games that on paper or, just I guess in the past that you should win, you gotta win, or other teams are going to take advantage. So yeah. So going from
Do you have any Champions League games pulled up real
I
quick?
don't. I went straight to NASCAR. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll go ahead and get into it next week for sure. So NASCAR,
10-4.
crazy game. I mean, game. We've got games all around, but race, crazy race at Darlington. Then the Southern 500. I told you, mark it on your freaking calendar. We have friends out there we could stay with, and then drive the 3.5 hours to the coast. But 2024 or 2025, we will be at the Southern 500. This looks like an amazing race. Crazy drama happening with fires in the hood of Kevin Harvick's car, Chase Elliott getting into the wall, Kyle Busch during a caution lap, his engine blows up with like 21, 22 laps to go in the race, where he was seemingly had the race in the bag. He was leading 155 laps, and all of a sudden his day is now done. But yeah, unbelievable race. The non-playoff driver of the 43, Eric Jones, wins it. The 200th ever win for Richard Petty and Richard Petty Motorsports. Just a great race, and definitely some good, drama and momentum going into Kansas this weekend, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll say that, devil's advocate, I would say that the racing it was all right. I don't think the racing was that good. I think you got clean air, and that was it, kind of. Not so much in the beginning. Obviously, Logano got ran down by Byron there,
Right.
in that first stage when he looked like he was going to be out. But,
It's just a little
Byron
payback
caught
for the
him.
first time at Darlington, right?
That is true. I mean, there was back and forth. You
Right.
saw, obviously, Truex got the lead as well, and his car had an issue also. So two Gibbs cars there. You mentioned Harvick being very unhappy with,
Crappy ass parts, man.
with the parts, I guess, and
Scary
just
though, like a fire
it's
just like spontaneously combusting in
and
the dash. What the hell? That's scary.
well, I don't think it's in the
That's where he
dash.
said
I think it goes
right.
up
That's where he
there.
said where it started.
I thought it's starting back from behind the
That's what I
tire.
thought. That's
like
what I
by
thought too. But in his interview, he said it started there. I don't know.
I'm not sure. He's not happy. It's pretty crazy. Just the season's getting a little crazy right now. We got a driver that made the playoffs that obviously can't compete. So another team, another driver in their team is driving the car to try to win an owners championship, which is Bubba
Weird.
Wallace, Kurt Busch sitting out. You got these cars which mainly seem to be Fords that are catching on fire. You got Toyotas expiring, right before races are going to end. You just got, you got Kyle Busch supposedly not even signed yet. And I gave you guys some 10 on
Right.
that.
Gotta take a screenshot and
Just
save that just in case you're right.
it's just kind of weird to me how he's still like a top 3 driver in the sport, if not still like most talented out there. You got to put a couple guys up there, but obviously he is, especially getting up there closer to 40 years old. But the guy is still such a talent, and just the fact that he doesn't have a ride for next year, find it kind of funny. I think it has something to do. I'll say it here. I think it has something to do with his brother. I think his brother's going to make a big decision here with his age.
Do you
And,
actually think he has a concussion, or do you think he's out of racing right now because of what came out with his now ex-wife? Saying that he was physically and emotionally abusive, and yeah.
Well, that came out a while ago,
But
right?
I mean, you never know. Like, what if he's now starting to see it happen, and then the sport itself is you never know what goes on behind the scenes. So just kind of a conspiracy theory of me thinking of that. I don't know. Like, does he really have a concussion this many weeks in a row, or is it because his ex-wife is threatening to, send out some video or something? You know what I mean? Like, it's something crazy that you would see in like a made-up drama show. But hey, we've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I can't picture the hit that gave him that concussion in my head right now. So I can't really, comment on if I think it was hard or not. But that is something that's going on in the sport right now as well. That's another thing that, drivers, as Kevin Harvick will attest to probably as well, that how hard drivers are hitting, that for some reason the hits are feeling harder. They're getting, I don't know, they're getting turned harder, and they're causing harder hits. So, I believe it. I wouldn't say, I don't believe that any driver would want to not be in the playoffs, dude.
Right.
I mean, he's a pretty damn good driver. Just not want to be in the playoffs because some, imposing possible allegations that his ex-wife might, I don't know his ex-wife personally. She seemed pretty cool. I don't know if she'd be the type of, woman to do that to him. But man, just I believe that it's like concussion based. But I think that he has a lot of decision making to do, and I think that could be a big reason why. Why his brother hasn't announced anything. Kyle, he's already obviously in the Toyota camp, so it'd be an easy, switch for Toyota to just bring him over to, 2311.
Right.
Gibbs can hop in the, in the 18. And there it is, like the most famous car for Gibbs, the number 18 with the Gibbs name, driving it.
That's true.
Makes perfect sense to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but have you noticed how seems like Michael Jordan's been pretty involved. He was, I think at Daytona, he was really into the race,
Yeah, he
but
was.
I like to see that as an owner, just not just a money grab, if you will. The guy just obviously show his true, passion for racing by being at the, the race, being atop the pits, really like listening to the racing electronics and, the radio, and, he really wants to be in the mix. So,
Right.
Shout out Michael Jordan. So it brings a lot of eyes to our sport, that we love, and I appreciate that. So
I will say that it was, you said the racing wasn't good or whatever, but like when I first started to watch the race, when I got home, when I did, Larson was down like 3 laps or whatever, because he had some engine problems in the beginning of the race. So I was like, oh, there's no reason. But then I see that he's only two laps down. I start to tune in. He's only 1 lap down. And that's right when I text you, I was like, dude, he's on the lead lap. And he's right there. And I think he got up to like 11th or whatever. So just a nice recovery from him, from his standpoint, because at one point he was like on the bubble out of it. Now he's back up into like, solidify himself in there. So going into Kansas this weekend, though, this is the race last year that Kyle Larson did win. He finished second earlier this year in this race. So what say you for the race over at Kansas this weekend for the week 2 of the playoffs for NASCAR?
Man, I think Kansas could be pretty crazy too, in my opinion. Another one of those, it's going to be fast. Who won there earlier in the year? Do you know who got the win? Or if you're going to look it up.
Let's see. Wasn't it Keselowski?
No.
No.
Keselowski doesn't have a win this year. Maybe last year he won there.
No. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Let's see. I'm not sure. Go ahead and give your thoughts on the race, and I'll look it up.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. I think the Toyotas are going to be strong again. I think Truex has a lot to prove. You obviously saw him at Darlington, wanting to win this damn thing. Obviously, the driver that did win. I think I heard it was the first time ever since NASCAR has started like this whole playoff type of racing, the playoff form. It's the first time that a non-playoff driver has won the first race of the playoff. So
cool.
That was pretty cool. So I think a lot of these drivers are going to be hungry. I think Chastain and Trackhouse fell off a little bit. I was expecting to see them more. I actually thought, in the middle of the season, I thought they could have been a car going into the Final Four, right? That's how good they were running.
Suarez,
I don't know if
Suarez ran good too. Even he failed pre-inspection 3 times, had to go to the back of the pack, and late in the race, he had freaking a speeding penalty on pit road. So he actually had a fast race car. I think and then actually he got into it with Christopher Bell too. So I think he had a fast car.
I think I'd like to see Logano leading the points right now. That's good to see.
Right.
But I think that it's still going to be so tough, man. And we after Kansas, we got Bristol, and I just think that,
Yeah, Bristol night race,
yeah,
baby.
I just think it's gonna be wild, bro. Because
Kurt Busch won
you
that
know,
race, by the way, at Kansas. The Advent Health 400. So that's the race that actually propelled him into the
that's
playoffs. So
right.
now we have
That's when he had that car that had the elephant print that looked like the on the
on the
Jordan
Jordan.
shoes. That was
Yep.
sick ass car. That's right.
So now you have the Hollywood Casino 400, baby.
But dude, I think like Harvick is pretty much gonna have to win now, almost right after like that DNF.
Bush.
I don't. Bush, there's a lot of drivers that are going to be right there on top of the drivers that didn't have issues, but just aren't going to run as good in points, like a Cindric, like a
Austin
Dillon, which
Dillon,
I
yeah.
still think is going to be out in the first round. But like, a Chris
Blaney.
Briscoe, a Blaney. No, yeah, Blaney ran pretty good, but yeah, Blaney, a Briscoe, man, it's going to be wild. Like
Right.
right now, I feel like, is there any car that's a lock to even make it to the final four right now? Maybe, Chase was supposed to be 4 wins, overall regular season points champion, right?
Right.
And then you see him just go all willy-nilly into a corner, like way out of control. I don't even know what happened
And then
in
he
that
got into
car when
Briscoe
that.
too, yeah. I mean, so he DNF'd. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
It's wild.
I mean,
and
and like with these cars and everything, I just throw out the stats, because over the last 7 races, you have Harvick, who doesn't have any wins over the last 7 races, but he has an average finish of less than 7th place, like all time,
and how
like current drivers right now, active drivers. He is the only driver to all time in 33 races. He has an average finish of a top 10, just over 9th place. Pretty crazy. So he's definitely has success at Kansas, but let's just throw it out there. Just throw out the stats.
and how bad is Michael Jordan feeling right now that his driver that won this race, in the
Exactly.
spring, couldn't make it because of concussions, right?
Right.
So
But I do see
it's just
your point about the Toyotas being up there. Kyle Busch has a win over the last couple of years. Denny Hamlin has 2 wins here over the last couple of races. So does Logano, though. So I see Logano being up there in the top 5, top 7 throughout the day. As long as there's no engine problems, I see Larson up there as well. Maybe cracking a top 5 to top 7 finish. So yeah, I definitely see there's going to be a lot of playoff drivers up there. But no, you're absolutely right. There's a handful of drivers that absolutely, positively need a win.
yeah, and there's a lot of drama right now, dude, and I love it, dude. I love the NASCAR season. I love the drama that it builds. We're gonna start seeing drivers getting pissed at each other, I think, and
Right.
just I love that fire from Harvick and just
Especially the Bristol night race. Remember what happened last year, where Harvick was right behind Larson, and then Chase got blocked him right up in there, and
that's
then it
right.
propelled Larson to a win there, and then Harvick was talking shit about Chase, so that was pretty funny. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a good race. I think the race is on Sunday.
3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, if I'm not mistaken.
And that is absolutely
So
perfect. If there's no good morning games or whatever, the Raiders don't play until the Raiders play
one,
1. So yeah, the race should be no, hold on, noon. Oh
no,
no, sorry, sorry, Kansas Speedway. I'm gonna have to, and I don't have the PIP, the rowdy, Roddy Piper. I don't have the picture. So gonna have to maybe
man.
go to on my phone, have the race on my phone or something, and the Raider game on the TV. But no, it's gonna be a good game, right? A good race. So speaking of good games, let's.
Dang, that's right, though. That's right. We are back into this time of season where they're going to be overlapping for a while, man.
Right, kind of sucks. I mean, but then again, as long as the Raiders don't play at night next week, we have the Bristol night race. Oh no, the Bristol night race is Saturday night. So
Saturday.
Saturday. So cool. I'll be at work. Sick.
College football. Oh, yeah, even yeah,
I'll be
college
at
football.
work. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably going to be Alabama, Georgia, or something,
Right. Okay. So let's get into some football. So of course, college, NFL. So college, I will say that I admitted it last year because I started the new job. I will be kind of in and out of like watching games of college football just because I have work Friday. I sleep throughout the day on Saturday, wake up, then I have work again Saturday. So college football, just how my schedule works, is going to kind of suck to actually watch the game. So I'm going to have to depend on you and Sean to give more insight. But hey, I will try. So what did you like about the first week or two of college football? week, I'd say.
Oh man, I always love it, dude. You know how much I love college football, man. Man, just the kids getting back in school, the marching bands, just everyone's fired up, the mascots, just, the college
College
game
game
day, all
day.
the tailgates, Jack Harlow going up there making a jackass
Jesus,
himself,
right?
but his picks weren't too bad though. His picks
Oh,
weren't
really?
too bad, but I mean, I thought he played the part. People are clowning him and whatnot. I thought the kid was pretty funny,
Mm-hmm.
asking Corso who he liked and saying that whatever, it was like a girl in Cincinnati. That's why he was rolling with them. But man, what did I enjoy, dude? Look, we had Georgia obviously pound Oregon. I said that
Good
before and I'll
Lord.
say it again. Oregon just it sucks because us being over here on the West Coast, being Pac-12 fans, and just Oregon, always getting this hype preseason, what have you, and just they go down there in the SEC country, or they have like these big hyped up, high profile games, and they always, kind of woof it, in my opinion. So they lose 49-3. Just Spencer Bennett having a field day for Georgia. So that was a whooping, not too fun to watch, but obviously it was a high profile game. Ohio State barely beats by 11 against Notre Dame. Everyone thought that was going to be a pounding due to the line that was there at like a -16 Ohio State, but Notre Dame surprisingly keeps it close and was leading at halftime 10-7. Obviously, we know that the new coach coming over from the defensive coordinator position, Marcus Freeman, I like to call him Morgan Freeman just for shits and giggles and for good gift purposes. But I mean, he comes over. He has the defense looking pretty good. And, obviously they probably played a little bit better than if Brian Kelly would have stayed, because Brian Kelly last night, his newly acquired LSU Tigers down there in the Bayou, did not look that good against Florida State University. Mike Norvell having their team down there in Tallahassee kind of put together. I did lose that game. I did lose a parlay, which I'm pretty salty about, because when I put it back in Reno like 3-4 weeks ago, I didn't realize Florida State. This is what happens when your handicapping isn't on par and you're not sure. Florida State had a game in hand last week. Obviously, this was their second game, and they play good. The transfer from Arizona State, Mike, couldn't do anything. He wasn't ready to play in the SEC down there against the big boys. He was used to defensive lines down there in Arizona, and those boys down in AZ just aren't the same size and speed and quickness. Another team from the Pac-12 that kind of held their own, could have won, but also, again, another Pac-12 team has to lose in the SEC, and Utah losing in Gainesville 26-29. Florida pulling off a small upset there, being the home underdog with Billy Napier as the first season head coach there. Utah looks pretty good. I like Cam Rising. I like the quarterback. I always like the coach, and I think Utah is going to obviously be one to contend in the South with Lincoln Riley's USC, who pounds Rice 66-14, brother. That was pretty good showing. We also know
Yes, sir.
Lincoln Riley always has that high-powered offense. So, man, just, kind of just running down some games today. Just finished a while ago. Clemson pounding Georgia Tech 41-10. Just that's kind of some top 25 games that I enjoyed. There were some other ones, but I don't know if you saw anything, but week 2, we got a good game coming up. Texas, Alabama, that's going to be fun, but tell me
It's
what you thought so far.
I mean, obviously, I had the USC game not on my phone, not on there because it's on the Pac-12 network, and unfortunately, my YouTube TV, even if you bought some the sports package that has Red Zone, they do not offer the Pac-12 network. So I was not able to watch USC. I had to watch on the GameCast on my phone, score 66 points. But hopefully this week they play Stanford, so that's got to be on TV somewhere. Definitely.
Right.
But this is a classic week 2 of college football. A handful,
Yes, it
like a
is.
couple of good matchups, but like Ohio State plays Arkansas State, Southern Miss visits the U. You have NC State playing Charleston Southern, Southern Utah playing at Utah. Notre Dame
Hey, hey,
playing
hey.
Marshall. You know.
NC State needs a little bit of a break after that crazy Appalachian State game that your brother had money on.
Right.
What was that thing? Like 63 to 59 or dude, that thing was wild, bro.
Oh, that's right. I remember you guys text. That's right, because I woke up to what 151 messages from you guys.
No, I think it was like 214.
That's right, 214. But yeah, so Georgia Bulldogs are at home against looking like the Samford Bulldogs. But yeah, Akron visiting Michigan State. I mean, like yeah, like a lot of these matchups. But I will say, like Florida down in the swamp, they're at home against Kentucky. They're favored by 4.5 right now. USC Stanford.
That's an SEC opener, right? So that's pretty good.
Right. I mean, USC Stanford, the Pac-12 opener, that's not a gimme game for USC. They have to go to Silicon Valley, only a 9-point favorites right now. And then Oregon will probably, there's even no line for Oregon. They're probably going to absolutely destroy Eastern Washington. The team with the red turf, Mr. Taiwan Jones, is alma mater. But what do you like?
That's right.
Yeah, what do you like going into this week 2 of the college football season before we get into the NFL?
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think that Alabama-Texas game's going to be fun. I think Alabama is probably going to have their way with them. We got another SEC opener here, South Carolina at Arkansas. Obviously, Arkansas was a big game. I won against Cincinnati. Sorry, Mr. Jack Harlow, but I had to get that win from you. But nah, man, just look at. I think that Stanford and the USC game is obviously going to be kind of a headliner one for week 2, like you said, typical week 2. Cal, UNLV. Just looking down the list here, nothing really catching my eye. Not even really seeing any lines right now. But stay tuned. Might have a little bit of extracurricular things for some comic booky college fans out
That's
there.
right.
But,
Yes.
man,
Stay tuned.
me and your brother need to have like a spin-off or something Saturday morning, man. Like
Right?
serious,
Go
like some
go
type of
live
like
on Instagram or
come
something.
on.
Yeah. Right.
Come on. You just made me think about that when you said that 214 messages we sent in the
Like,
morning.
why are you
I mean,
like if you're gonna be on your phones, might as well be like talking to other people and not just yourselves.
we're literally just talking about like lines and spreads and these games like back and forth with each other. Why not just like laugh about it and just like, go live and see if anyone will like tune in, right?
Right.
Just like, because I love this crap and, college is, it almost, I say it every year that NASCAR, college, NFL, probably like my top favorite sports that I'll actually commit to watching. It's with all the time constraints that we have as parents
Absolutely.
and adults and husbands now. It's tough. But, NASCAR, college, and NFL is just, something that we try to make time for. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oregon State and Fresno could be pretty fun as well. Those late night recap games. SEC going to Arizona and the Mississippi State seeing Arizona after they beat
Pac-12 after dark.
San Diego State. Pac-12 after dark. I love
Love
it.
it.
Also at night on ESPN, though, you're going to get Baylor and BYU. So we'll see if your brother is going to bet on the Mormons again and see if they get him another win. But man, it's not as bad as I thought. You're only going to have about 5, 6, 7 high profile games. But
And you know what? Like those games who are like Samson versus Georgia. Sometimes those are the games where you know what. Put a plus 60. Like, is Georgia really going to beat them by 60? So sometimes you might have a game where they'd lose by 40, but you know what? There's a win if you take the dog, Or you take all the favorites and just assume that all these top 10, top 15 teams are going to win by 100. I don't know.
And see, this is why I wish I knew a little bit more of like some more teams going into the season because, I see the line here right now, USC looking like about -9. That could seem about right, but I do know history and I do know, Stanford can play them tough,
Very true.
and, with them being at home, not saying that there's going to be a crazy, spectacular environment with so many fans at a Stanford game, but might be more USC fans. But what I'll say
Yes,
is,
sir.
there's some value there in -9 if it starts to creep up later on in the week. Might be looking at taking Stanford double digits. You never know. So keep your eyes peeled on that
All
one.
right. So now we're going to get to the sport where I this is why I like having the schedule that I have. I wouldn't take it.
This is all him, ladies and
I would not
gentlemen.
take it any other way. I would totally sacrifice a
He
Saturday night race and
this
college football in order
this
to have my NFL
yes.
on Sunday. Sorry.
The man said, "Sorry, Kansas Motor Speedway." Can you believe the man said
Yeah,
this?
sorry next Saturday for any kind of college football or the night Bristol night race because I need my NFL on Sunday mornings. I get no sleep. I wake up at 9:55 to that red zone countdown, and I'm loving every minute of it. So we open the season up Thursday night football in a few days. Only game this year on Thursday on NBC. Buffalo at the LA Rams. I mean, I'm not going to run down all the games. What I will say is that this section right here is going to be different from last year because usually we would give our picks, but now us and all of you, we're making our picks online on runyourpool.com. Again, I'm going to put the link to the free contest in the YouTube page. I'm going to put it on put the link to it on all of your, like where you get your podcast, right? On Apple or on iHeartRadio and stuff. So, Mark, let's get into it, man. Finally, we are here, week 1 of the NFL season. Run down any games that you like as far as just wanting to watch or wanting to put a little bit of hard-earned taxed dollars on.
You know which one I'm trying to watch, brother. My Raiders, a big game coming up against the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego.
Of whatever the hell.
Yeah. But nah, man. I'm really upset. I'm really upset at freaking LSU, dude, for blowing up my parlay. I put in a nice little parlay in Reno like a month ago. And, just kind of off the top of my head, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but, just kind of going off the top of my head. And I really thought, I was going to get to the NFL weekend because I picked two NCAA games, and then I had like 5 NFL games on it, right? So I was like, if I can just get, Arkansas, which won, and then if I can just get LSU to get me past week 1, then I'm going to have like a nice little parlay, which was mostly money line going into, the weekend. I think the Raiders were the only team that I had. I took the plus 3.5 with them.
Cool.
They wouldn't let me buy the half a point. I wanted to get it to 4, but I didn't. So I was feeling pretty good. So I think I'm just going to have to, get that account, going and just maybe have to put in the same parlay on my account.
Just the 5 games, yeah.
It's always fun. Yeah, exactly. Just the 5 games, but they're not going to pay as much. And it's always fun when you got a little bit of money waiting for you there at the William Hill in Reno or South Lake Tahoe. They'll make a little trip before the snow and the rain really start here in the wintertime. So.
Yep. That's right. So, I mean,
but what
what
other games, dude?
I mean, I think that just going based off of what we've seen in preseason and what we can see, the quote unquote experts see, I see the 49ers having an easy time. The weather's probably not as, let's see, Chicago,
I don't
73 degrees and sunny. They don't have any West Coast teams travel east to the Eastern time zone and got the crappy weather, blah, blah, blah. There's no kind of disadvantage there. I think the 49ers win by at least 10 to 13 points over the Chicago Bears right there. And again, giving this insight and opinion, it's not like I'm giving out picks, for the contest, because that's going to be a secret until 10 a.m. on Sunday. But yeah, that's one game that kind of jumps out at me for sure.
I think New England going to Miami is going to be a big one for obviously the division.
87 degrees and probably 90% humidity. Ugh, gross.
And that's what I was telling
That's
you.
sticky icky.
Bill Belichick, I think, is going to send his players there 4 or 5 days early, I heard, so they can kind of like start trying to get accustomed to it, which is pretty smart. I actually had Miami money line on that parlay, so I like them. I still kind of like them. I think a lot of people. But one thing that is kind of scaring me is that I know we mentioned it last week on the preview episode, but it seems like a lot more people are down on New England than I thought. I've been hearing a lot of talking heads and whatnot kind of say that they're thinking New England is going to take a step back as well. So That kind of scares me because when everyone's down on them, they might just
You know what happens.
prove people wrong. You know what happens exactly. So, but that should be a pretty good game. Obviously, this Thursday night game, the first game of Thursday night before it heads over to Prime, Amazon Prime Video,
Mm-hmm.
where you guys can also hear this lovely Comic Bookies podcast on the
Yes, sir.
weekly. And so, yeah, man, that's probably going to be, on paper, probably one of the best games, right? Buffalo
For
at,
sure.
the Rams. Let's see if the Rams are hungover, and let's see how hungry Buffalo, so that's a really, really, really intriguing game to watch to see how a team that almost made it there comes back and how the team that won it and has one of their players playing fighting off people's helmets, see how they're doing,
Right.
so see how they end up doing. And um, I don't see them taking that much of a step back. Like I said in the preview show, I think that they had a couple more years left till like they start losing all that draft position and whatnot. So I think that they're gonna play pretty good, and I think that's gonna be a fun game. So, but yeah, it's not too many interesting
I mean,
games.
I am. I don't know if I'm going to pick this, but I'm rooting. I'm really rooting for the Jaguars to start off the season strong and go into Washington and get a win there. I mean, the Commanders are a -3, but I mean that's pretty much a pick 'em, right? When you put it down to it, when the team's at home, they usually give them 2 or 3 points as it is. So man, come on, Trevor Lawrence, let's go. Start off the season strong. Go down there and get a damn win,
And
or
I
technically go
actually,
up
I
there. Sorry, coming from Florida.
I actually had the Commanders money line
Oh, you did.
when I put in that part. That was one of the teams I had in the parlay as well. I had the Niners money line, which you like. I had Bengals, and then I had Dolphins and Commanders and the Raiders, and I think I had the Titans too.
I like the Titans at home against the Giants
Like the
for sure.
Titans.
You know what? I love this team to just get on a good start. Just give the fans some hope. Because they're gonna end up ripping out their hearts either way. But I like the Cowboys at home against the Buccaneers. Prime time. NBC
It's a good
Sunday Night Football.
game.
It's a really good game. I kind of like the Cowboys to get off to a good start and win against Tom Brady, touchdown Tommy, and the Buccaneers.
Tommy.
That 11 days he took off. Maybe that doesn't bode so well for him. I don't know. The Broncos and
Uh,
Seahawks is not going to be that good of a game, although it was a good game maybe a few years ago. Seahawks are not a very good team right now, but only -6.5. Maybe the 12th man has something to say for him. Who knows?
Have you noted, or here's another game that's going to be right alongside our Raider game here at 1:25 p.m. Pacific, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Mike,
Chiefs,
have you
Cardinals.
noticed before yeah, Chiefs Cardinals
Yeah,
exactly. You read it, but see that's going to be big implications for two reasons. You want to see how Kingsbury's going to come out of the gate with
right.
Kyler Murray, right? I think that's going to be big for their fan base. That's going to be big for them going forward, right? They're going to really want to prove that game. So is the Chiefs. They're going to want to prove whatever. Tyreek Hill, he's gone. That's big for the Raiders because if the Cardinals, as a 4.5 point home underdog right now, if they can somehow squeak that win over Patrick Mahomes playing in a dome, first game, maybe unsettled, which we don't really expect from Patrick Mahomes, but we'll see, right? If the Cardinals can kind of pull off that upset on the money line, then I'd say, that's going to start off the AFC West, depending on, what the Raiders and Chargers and Broncos do. But that could, that could be big implications, not
I
just
hope.
for the Chiefs in the
Mhm.
West, but also for the Cardinals and, in the West in the NFC as
Right.
well,
I hope that.
because they want to
I
compete,
mean,
right? They want to
not
contend.
only for the Raiders' sake because of the Chiefs, but I hope that the Cardinals go out there and they spend every ounce of energy and pull off a win that week because the very next week they go to Vegas. So the Cardinals start the season out
That's
with two
right.
AFC division teams. My brother will be down there with his buddy Bobby. Shout out to those two guys going from Arizona up to Vegas to go to the Cardinals Raiders game week 2. So I hope that they use up every ounce of energy, every ounce of whatever, what have you, and then they go in, and the Raiders handle them in week 2. But I mean, other than that, the Colts laying some points, at Houston, so we'll see about that. The Ravens, it's like some of those games where it's like, yeah, the Ravens are going to beat the Jets by 8, right? Yeah, the Eagles are going to, hey, you know what? Lions coming off of the Hard Knocks, Lions getting 4 points at home against the Eagles. Your guys' potential NFC East champions. Who knows about that? Division game, Steelers, Bengals. It's, I don't know. I really don't have a lot of opinion on it yet because I haven't seen anybody play. Some guys, like I said earlier, haven't seen anybody play, period, even in the preseason.
Exactly.
So we'll just see, man. It's kind of that, like you say, that show me week, Show me what you're made of. Are the Saints really only 5.5 point favorites going into Atlanta? Because Atlanta looks like to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. So we'll see, man.
I've been hearing nothing but good things about New Orleans, man.
Right. So
They could.
give Tampa Bay a run for their money maybe in the division, but I'm just overall excited about this, and I can't wait to talk about these games next week, and then obviously going into week 2 it'll be more of a more entertaining, I think, in my eyes.
Well, yeah, we're gonna actually have something to
Some
talk
stats
about,
and
right?
some injuries
Right
maybe,
now,
and
it's just right now it's implications going off what we think is gonna happen. What just I hope everybody does good in their picks. Who's joining the contest? Once again, runyourpool.com TCB contest. But I just pray for a good NFL season. Then that my team and all of yours makes the Super Bowl as well.
All of yours, right?
I mean, look at the Steelers. Look at the Steelers in Cincinnati. That's a rivalry, right? And right now we don't know what we're gonna get. I don't even think Tomlin has exactly said that it's gonna be Trubisky. I'm pretty sure we're sure, but I think reports came out that something about how he never even said yet. But
Yeah.
most like it's gonna be Trubisky. But just
Who knows?
hope for some parity, hope for some for some fun, and man, it's football. What can we say, baby? It's here and it is back.
Hell yeah, buddy. So everyone, hope you enjoy a great weekend. We have plenty to get to watch. Like we just said, you have baseball this weekend, or this whole weekend. You have the NASCAR playoff race on Sunday. You have EPL this weekend. You have college on Saturday, and some other conferences they're even playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. What's that? The MAC, the MAC plays on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
The MACtion.
Yeah, MACtion.
That's later on in the season, though. They usually do that later on in the season.
And then, of course, NFL Week 1. You have so much to look forward to this weekend. So, Mark, send us away for episode 159, bro.
Yes. This is 159, not 169. That is coming up in 10 more. Halfway through the season, we'll get to that 69 number that all of you love. But no, in all seriousness, it's really hot out here. Everybody stay cool. Stay in the AC if you can. Don't overpower our grid in California because, they want you to get electric cars, but they can barely handle some AC Slaters being on during the state. So anyway, everybody have fun across the country, across the globe. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Comic Bookies podcast. As always, this is brought to you by Treasure Island Comics. Make sure you check them out in Fremont, California. Our social media, you can always reach us at the Comic Bookies, at Twitter, at the Comic Bookies, on Instagram. If you want to email us, if you want to do it old school, email your picks. If you have any questions, thecomicbookies@gmail.com is where you can find us. And yeah, man, just everybody settle in, hunker down, and enjoy these last days of summer, if you will, and enjoy the pigskin that's going to be coming your way because it is here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, like I was saying one or two other times in the episode, I will put a link to the runyourpool.com super contest, that TCB that our podcast is putting on, cash and swag prizes for the top 3 winners of this season. If you can't find it here on YouTube or on the description of the episode for 159, just search our Instagram, just search our Twitter. We've shared the link plenty of times, so you have a few days to sign up. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for 159. I hope everyone stays cool and has a great week. Read some books and go watch some sports and just be good to each other. Enjoy the sports, enjoy the comics, and enjoy each other. Peace the hell out. Go Raiders.
Peace, and always enjoy each other. And don't forget, dun 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 dun,
Dun-dun,
dun dun dun
chugga-choo,
dun,
chugga-choo.
dun 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 dun, dun dun dun. It's back, baby. Everybody enjoy and good luck on your picks. Peace, stay safe. Happy Labor Day. TCB, we love you.